Hello, everyone. I'm back like I never left. And lighting today is not the best, but we're gonna keep moving. I'm not a beauty influencer. So, anyways, this today we're gonna be talking about Manchester United and the summer that we just had, and why it's very encouraging. Why I'm very excited about this upcoming season. So let's start with signings. Obviously, we signed Matheus Cunha from Wolves for £62.5 million right at the beginning of the window. I already kind of knew it was going to happen, so I wasn't super excited about it. It was more just like, let's get it done. And we did get it done, and we got it done really quickly, which is a bit unlike Manchester United, but it's very exciting. Obviously, brilliant player. Was the best player for Wolves last year, and this is an encouraging sign. We're signing the best players of teams in the Premier League, and that's what we used to do under Sir Alex Ferguson, and that was one of the keys to our success. So I'm glad that we're going back to that strategy. We're not buying players that are going to have to settle in for a season or two. We're buying players that will be able to hit the ground running. And we followed that up with signing of Brian Bumo, and he's Cameroonian, so I got to support, of course. But beyond that, he scored 20 goals in the league last year. He's a brilliant player, probably the closest player to Salah in the world. But I would say he may even have higher potential just because of his dead ball ability, free kicks, corner kicks. He takes penalties as well, but Salah also does that. So I think it's a brilliant signing. Again, Brentford's best player, so we again did that. And goals were a problem last year, and we're bringing in goals with both of those players. So honestly, after that, I was pretty content. I was like, all right, United. Even though the Bumo deal, it took way too long. It was starting to seem like old United again, and we ultimately ended up paying just what they wanted. I think if we had been firm and tried to get the deal done as early as possible, it would have been cheaper. But when you wait, and then players like Alenga get sold for 55 million, and even Madueke is getting sold for 50 million, then obviously Brentford is going to demand a higher value for Bumo because he's a better player than those players. So I was ultimately, I was pretty glad with the business we had done at that point. I still wanted a striker, but I thought, we didn't make Champions League. We're gonna have to sell players basically if we want to get more than Cunha and Bumo. So then I was surprised when I saw that we basically entered the race for Šeško. I thought we were going to prioritize either Osimhen or Gyökeres, just because they're more proven, they're older. We need players that are just going to come in, hit the ground running, score a bunch of goals. So when I saw we were in for Šeško, it was a mixed bag, because when I saw Arsenal was initially linked to him, I didn't think too much of it. Obviously, he's going to be a very high potential striker, one of the top in the world. But he's young. It just seemed like another Højlund situation for me, and I'm always very wary of that, because we keep bringing in these young strikers, and we have to keep buying new ones, and I'm tired of that cycle. But I want to give Šeško the benefit of the doubt. This is a little bit different than Højlund, given that he's someone who the top clubs have been monitoring for ages now, for years and years and years. Højlund seemed like we were the only ones in for Højlund, basically. So that's different. He's also 2 years older than Højlund was. He scored over 100 goals in his career already, even though he's only 22, which is, Højlund had only, I don't know how many Højlund had, but I think it was less than 50. So, it's clear that he's not Højlund. So I'm hoping that I'm sure that eventually he'll come good. I just hope we start bearing that fruit this season. But after I saw that, I was like, okay, Ineos were cooking, especially because Newcastle have Champions League football. Newcastle it seemed Newcastle were the ones who were going to sign him. They sent in a high offer. He had already accepted terms. But then Ineos came in, and because Newcastle had already progressed the deal that much further, we were able to just swoop in and get it done immediately because the price was already there. Šeško indicated that he only wanted United, so we were able to get it for even lower than Newcastle had bid. So I'm like, okay, I see you, Ineos. We're cooking. And that's when, now I'm like, okay, we're going to need to sign at least, we got rid of Rashford on loan with option to buy to Barcelona, which his wages were really high. I think he was making over £300 a week, £300,000 a week. So that was almost like a sale. But after getting Šeško, I thought that we were going to need to get rid of, Garnacho, Antony, Sancho, Malacia, the bomb squad, as people have been referring to them. But to my surprise, as soon as Šeško was wrapped up, we heard news that United is going after Baleba. And Baleba, this is something that, if we get this done, this is the best window that I've witnessed as a United fan, personally. I can't speak for, what we did under the days of Sir Alex, but for me, this would be the best window. On top, beside the fact that he's Cameroonian, like Bumo, which is making me really happy because now that would be 3 Cameroonian players. Actually 4, because we brought in Enzo Canabiek. Oh, wait, no. He's not Cameroonian, is he? Wait. I might just be making things up now. Oh, no. Okay, so he's French, nationality-wise. I could look for his ethnicity, but we're just going to go with that. Anyways, besides the fact that he's Cameroonian, when I watched him, I love Kobe Manu. If you heard me in his breakout year, like, the glazing that I was doing was insane. I was saying he's going to be a generational player. I thought he was our best player already that season in his first year. And the first game last year that when I saw Brighton play United, Baleba cooked Manu. And from that moment, he captured my attention because he has everything. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he can carry the ball, he dribbles, he can shoot from distance, he can pass the ball. I'd say the one area for improvement would be his controlling the game. If he could control the game and be more like a Rodri, that would be elite. But given just the gaps that we've had in our midfield for ages, I think he would be a brilliant signing just because we want to play a more attacking 8 next to him. And he is also attacking, but we need someone who can cover the ground. And if there's one thing he can do is certainly cover ground. So he's also 21. Again, he's Cameroonian. This is just a dream signing for me. This is, when I wrote, I could tell you guys I had made a plan for who we should sign this summer. And the list was Cunha, Osimhen or Gyökeres, Bumo, Baleba, Milinkovic-Savic, and Masuntuono. And given how we went about our business with the other signings, I have no reason to believe we're not going to get Baleba. Even though the price is going to be astronomical, I don't think we're going to hear. I think it's going to be like Declan Rice. I think we're just going to sign him, and that's going to be that. And we're not going to really hear much about the figure because he's going to be that quality. So if we get that done, I think we're going to finish top 5, personally. I don't really, goalkeeper would still be an area to fix, but I don't think Onana really is going to cost us that much this season. This was a Champions League caliber keeper before he joined us. There's no way that has left, as he said. So, yeah. But moving on to preseason, I thought preseason it was exciting. I can't expect too much given how we finished last year. So it was really impressive given our context. We were undefeated, which was a massive improvement. We experimented with different lineups and ways of pressing, and we showed major signs of improvement, particularly against Bournemouth. I thought just the way we moved the ball, the one-touch passing, we were actually able to progress it through the middle of the pitch. We didn't have to rely on the wings. I thought overall it was a very, very solid performance. I also like to see Dorgu. Dorgu has improved, I think. He's carrying the ball more in the middle of the pitch. His attacking output in that game, he scored a goal, he got an assist. He's really improved. He was one of our best players. I'd say Euro was also, he looks like he's near world class already. He'll be world class this year or next year, and he's only 19. Like, this is ridiculous to think about. At 19, we already have a talent like this. But some of his passing was in several games was questionable. And I think it's still preseason, so we're going to give them time. But honestly, I'd never seen him make decisions like that his whole time as a United player. So it was a little bit shocking, but I'm sure this is something that he'll quickly get over. De Ligt is having a revival. De Ligt was already really good last year, but I personally thought Maguire should start ahead of him. But now, I don't know if it's his wife divorcing him. I don't know if it's new season, new morale, or having bounced back from these injuries and wanting to finish the season with the team. But he looks a different beast. And now I think that center back is his. I think with him, Euro, and Heaven, I personally would have Heaven on the left. I think that's, until Martinez comes back, that's our starting center backs. And that's brilliant. I think, who else should I thought Cunha was really good. He showed how he can carry the ball. He showed his quality, his first touch, just the way he almost looked like Bruno to me at times, which is one of the biggest compliments you can get. Except, quicker with the ball. And so I think, he fit in seamlessly. I think Mbeumo also fit in seamlessly, but he was not fit. I don't think he's ready for the season yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mount starts against Arsenal, even though I definitely want to see Mbeumo in that game. But yeah. And then Mount was scoring. He looks sharp. I'm excited for him this season. It's just a lot that preseason was good. And also, yeah, our signings have been much better under Ineos. Oh, also, I forgot to mention for Baleba, he's also Brighton's best player. So that'd be another one. Taking 3 squad's best players from the Premier League would be elite this summer. But yeah, our signings have been great under Ineos. Dorgu, Heaven, even before Amorim, I think De Ligt was class. Mazraoui, one of our best signings, pound for pound, in a long time. Euro, obviously, almost world-class already, not even 20. So there are a lot of great signs. I think moving forward, I think Project 150, I think it was, we were trying to win the Premier League 150 years after. I think that could be up for that. I could see it happening. I mean, our squad, honestly, I think we have the best attack in the league, barring Liverpool. I want to say Liverpool. But if City gets Rodrigo, that changes things. But our attacking force, I mean, we have, when you look at it, who I think is going to be starting, you got to add the wing backs. Those add to our attack. Dorgu, Ahmad, Bumo, Cunha, Sheshko, and then a midfield of Bruno or Manu, or Bruno and Manu or Baleba is brilliant. Just think it's going to be so many goals. But yeah, our signings have been much better. That's also one thing preseason has shown. And then just seeing what Bumo is going to bring and how he's a perfect fit, even though he isn't really fit, was really the last thing preseason has shown. Also, the fact that we needed a reference for striker, even though we had Hoyland those games, it seems like he's being forced out, which is a shame. I would have wanted him to stay, be a second striker, which is what he should have been all along. We set him up to fail ultimately, and I just hope with Sheshko it doesn't go the same way. I thought they'd be good for each other, but that doesn't seem like the route that we're planning on taking. So all I can do is wish the best. And yeah, moving on to the morale, which is arguably the most important piece. I think really I'm a Celtics fan, so this is also funny given Jaylen Brown's tweet a couple years ago, but the energy is shifting. The energy is shifting, guys. The exiled players were not brought on tour. The bomb squad, as people are referring to them as Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony, Sancho, and Malacia, and they weren't even able to train with the team, which is different. Something that Chelsea did, and I think it fared well for them last season. But that seems to have helped the morale, as Luke Shaw said in an interview that everyone seems to be on the same page and there are no stragglers, and that has been echoed by many players. It seems like this is really a turning point. The players understand that last year was not good enough, and they want to bring us back to where we belong. And also, people need to remember their salaries. They get a 25% salary reduction if we're not in the Champions League. So for their own livelihoods, this is important. I think this season, Baleba, if we get Baleba, I think it's a 5th place finish. But everyone looked leaner and fitter. Maguire literally said this. Even Maguire. I mean, every fan that I've watched on YouTube or pundits have been saying this, but even Maguire said that everyone looked leaner and fitter when he was on the Rio Ferdinand podcast. And now the team looks ready to handle the physical demands of the Premier League. So I don't see why this season should be a repeat of last year. Also, just extra time on the pitch, 1 game per week. I think we're going to see a much different team. Carrington was rebuilt, so now the players came back, and I mean, I just love how Ineos is taking this far. They're looking at this issue of how has this club fallen so much? How have they not been successful for so long, given the prestige, given the finances, given the attractiveness of the club? And they're considering a whole host of issues. And one of them is just Carrington. I mean, obviously Ronaldo, in the Piers Morgan interview before he left United, had talked about how the facilities hadn't changed since when he had left the first time, and how an institution the likes of Manchester United needs something more futuristic, more innovative, more cutting edge. And it seems like Carrington is being rebuilt, or was rebuilt, and that really will go into the players' minds and signal like this is really a new start for us. We can do something this season. We're not carrying the old baggage of the old Carrington, of the bomb squad, of any of that. This seems like we are really poised to make a difference this season, and almost everyone's healthy. Xerxes was injured, but he seems to be back in training now. Mazraoui and Martinez are coming back, and Onana as well, and I think that's everyone. Everyone will be fit, and that's depth. I mean, for 1 game per week for the season, that's depth. I think all in all, Ineos is cooking. That's all I have to say. Manchester United are cooking, and I'm excited. I'm just excited for the season. So yeah, just let me know what you guys thought of that video. Let me know what you guys thought of Manchester United summer. If there are any other videos that you want me to make or anything like that. But yeah, it was nice to be back, make a video. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments, and please subscribe to my Substack. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe there as well. Instagram should be coming soon to help me promote my articles and my videos, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.